Poem of the day. Who am I, you say? Am I a thief, or am I just inspired to borrow lines from others in a way to layer the icing on the cake of my unsweetened morning thoughts? To feel the presence of the outside world and hear their words spoken as passersby that seep into my skin like a drug as if it was oxygen itself. Turning the dial to find some music that taps at my solar plexus, relaying messages to the rest of my body to respond. I'll take the response, whose access I can slowly turn on high. When I read lines from strangers, writing in colors of light and dark, I see the electrical switch and measure it in context. Should I add more or less current to flow into my nervous system? Poets are moody. Some can disrupt your day, as gravity keeps us grounded. Sometimes floating is often the lift one needs to have to get from point A to point B. I laugh sometimes thinking point A is an actual place and point B is an actual destination, forgetting those moments of the ride I'm actually on. The universe has put me on this path. Fate, free will, intuitive motion, divine intervention, duty of care, all that other madness my sticky hands can put into my basket along the way. I'm going to contribute in some way. Where did you get that? Someone will ask. I borrowed it. Permanently. Then I internalize, what does that make me? I did get permission, I justify. I asked the universe, and the universe replied with a yes. I wrote a couple of poems this morning. It was good. I've got to get back on path and read poetry of others and read stories of others, even, short stories. You got to love the storytelling element about the world. When COVID hit, people went to the arts. They went to music. They went to reading. They went to writing. Some people started writing novels, short stories. They started writing poetry. Some people worked in their journal. Life began to have people internalize their existence and their station in life, their accomplishments, their direction, their paths that they've been on, and all kinds of things. People went to music, people picked up instruments, people picked up cameras, started doing photography, people watched movies, people watched TV, people did a lot of stuff that eventually all was a part of the creations of other people's stories of their lives, right? Sure. You are the summation of what you've done, who you've known, where you've been, all that has filled your basket of information, the food you've tasted, the music you've listened to, the movies you watched, the books you've read, the people you've befriended, the sometimes the horrible experiences you've had in life. This is us. And as a poet, when I'm reading the works of others, I get inspired. And I think, oh, what a good line. What a very tasty morsel of a line. And other times I think to myself, oh man, that hurt. Wow. That took me there. That took me where they were. And it hurt. There's a famous poet, English poet from World War I who wrote about his experiences in the trenches and how horrible things were. And it was vivid. It was real. But also, you read poetry of love. You hear songs of love, of romance, not just of people, but of other things in their lives, whether it be a pet, whether it be a certain thing they like doing, working on the farm, you know, walking through nature. Henry Thoreau did a lot of that. Talked a lot about living in nature and how it grounded him in such a way. There's a lot in this life we can experience. It's important to explore the language. And you, with all the language, are like spices in your own kitchen. And then you creating your own foods, as in short stories, as in poetry, as in, in general storytelling. I like good storytelling. I do. It feeds me in a way. That's the idea of picking things up in a basket. Sometimes when I have friends from all over the world, I incorporate some of their accent. And that's in part because I'm wanting to connect. My old friend Jimmy McDonald from Edinburgh, Scotland. Jimmy McDonald from Edinburgh, Scotland. Yeah. And sometimes I hear myself talking about, oh, this is fine. Just like Jimmy would say. You like that? Oh, it's fine. It's dreadful. He would say, dreadful. Oh, that was dreadful. You know. It's great. He had great color to his language. He was a storyteller. I adopted a lot of understanding on how to tell a good story. It's a process. Point A to point B. There's a journey. Where's point B? Ask the universe. Take a basket. Make sure your fingers are sticky. And you're putting things in your basket that you are borrowing permanently. Just ask the universe, make sure it's okay. I have a suspicion that the universe will reply with a yes. We poets are moody. When I say moody, I'm not like talking mentally ill, although you can be mentally ill and a poet. We've seen that. But in the way that, you feed out the energy that's there. And you walk away wanting to tell a story in a very poetic way. That's what I'm referring to when I say moody. I tend to keep my moods with the light switch dial up so that it lightens all of us in a way. Yeah? Feed yourself. Feed yourself good moments in life. Let it seep into your skin like oxygen, like the poem says. Let it hit you in the solar plexus here. That tells where all the nerves to go and speak to all the other organs to engage. All right? Okay. We don't have a long time here. Make the ride good. Cheers, everyone. Be kind to the world. Be kind to people, especially those people you have nothing to gain from. Be kind to yourself. Peace be with you. Peace be upon you. Cheers.